Get higher, baby. Get higher, baby. Get higher, girl. Hey.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Knights of the Pageless Library. I am Bo Knight, and with me, as always, is Ryan Knight. And today we are taking a look at the August Audible originals. And the two that we picked this month were Phreaks and Childhood Interrupted.
That is right. And if anybody, I'm just going to lead with this. If anybody has some, like, if you're on your game and you download the originals, like, immediately when they're available on the first Friday of every month, and you find a good one, please email it to us at kotpl.pod@gmail.com so
For the
we can
love
take
of
a look
God.
at it. Yeah, please do. Um, I'm not trying to foreshadow anything, but
No, not at
just
all.
if you come across something extraordinary in the Audible originals, please let us know.
Even, I would say, mildly interesting.
Okay, that's fair. So, for anybody who doesn't know, since I think this is going to be kind of a short episode, I will give a little bit of fluff here. Audible originals are available for free with your Audible subscription. So if you pay your $15 a month Audible subscription, you will get one free book token per month. You will also get one free on sign up. And then you will also get access to these free books that come out on the first Friday of every month. Normally, when this started, you would get to choose, there'd be like 6 available, and you'd get to choose 2 for free. But during the pandemic, Audible has apparently been kind enough to go ahead and give you access to all of them. And there is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 available this month.
But I've been noticing, too, like, not all 11 of those are original. A lot of them are repeats from the past.
Sure, and that is something I've noticed too, is that they are doing some that are repeats as well. But again, they are all available for free. And now, like, your freemium stuff will range based on a few different things. I mean, one of these books we listened to is like 45 minutes long, and the other one's like 6 hours. So there is a big deviation in there for what you're going to get for free. So
Yeah. But we're trying to, like, hopefully guide your little audio boat that you are piloting, and so you don't listen to garbage every month.
beautiful. I love that.
So yeah, you want to start with Childhood Interrupted?
Yeah. So Childhood Interrupted, Raising Kids During a Pandemic.
By Sanjay Gupta, narrated by Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Correct. And it is 46 minutes long. Just came out this year, hot off the press. And I mean, I don't know what else to say. Is this guy known for anything? He's written a few other things, it looks like.
He's a
Cheating
known
Death,
neuroscientist.
Monday Mornings. Yeah, so Dr. Sanjay has a few books under his belt on Audible. So it looks like, obviously, this book is free.
Or you can buy it for $8.
Correct. And spoiler alert, do not do that.
Okay. Can I, like, the fact that he even has a price tag on this at any point kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, actually, it should just kind of always be free. Like, there should not be a price tag on it. Like, I get it. You wrote
Dude,
the book, you got it published, you got it. You know, he narrates it himself. That's great. You put your time into that
So
stuff.
he spent like a total of an hour on this whole thing.
Correct. That's where my issue lies too. Okay, so here we go. Your recommendation?
No.
No, absolutely not. Me too.
I'm going to be honest with everybody. I picked this one on purpose to piss Ryan off.
Yeah,
Little did I know it would piss me off too.
Okay, so let's just dive right into this one. Did anything of substance?
No.
Was anything of substance said in this?
No. Like, it's literally just him rambling about his children. Not even like he's like framing it as he's like giving you advice what to do with your kids during the pandemic, but he doesn't actually freaking say anything.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said that because I honestly thought I missed something.
Oh.
Because I was listening to this, I was trying to get it finished, so I had it on like 1.4 times speed. And all of a sudden it was just like, this has been an
I
Audible
know,
Originals
right?
production.
It
And I
ends
was
almost
like,
like in the middle of a sentence.
okay, good. Because I literally, I picked on my phone and I was like, wait a second, what? I swear it said I had 30 minutes left. Wait a minute, what's... I, I can't honestly say any... So a better way that this should have been done is, Mr. Sanjay, if you're listening, start your own fucking podcast and do a podcast
really.
episode, because that's
Really.
all this was. This was a podcast episode. That's all it was.
Not a very interesting podcast.
No, I mean, that's cool. He's a freaking neuroscientist guy, like neuro doctor. That's cool. Talk about some of that cool stuff. Don't try to... I feel like this was literally, he was like
some pseudoscience bullshit that he even admits that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
right. And then it's like, that's great, man. If you want to call it childhood interrupted, great. Leave the raising kids during a pandemic out of it, because nothing about raising kids was really of substance. Like, it didn't really... It's not going to add to anybody else who's already been going through this for 7 months. Like, it's not going to... They're not going to be like, oh, I finally figured it out. Thanks, Dr. Sanjay.
Yeah, Gupta's got it again.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I thought I missed something during the whole thing, but
No.
I'm glad nothing actually happened.
So yeah, let's just move on from this
Yeah, let's. I don't want to embarrass him anymore.
to Phreaks, which is actually a dramatization.
Yeah, and actually, so when I pulled this up, when I tried to
Oh, and it's written by Matthew Derby. Before we get to before we don't mention that.
let me pull something up real quick. Being very slow at typing right now because we're recording, so why wouldn't I be? So when I searched Phreaks on Google just to pull up the stuff on Audible, it actually says there was a news article thing that came out on Audible saying that it looks like they're going to be trying to put out more of these like fully casted books on the originals, so people can look forward to that during the summer. I think this is the first of those books. It looks like there's probably going to be 4 of them over the summer, so that's interesting.
What did you think about the dramatization in this one?
I actually thought parts of it weren't bad. This one is definitely like you have an episode of a show playing in the background. So
Yeah.
if there's dead time in a show where you might see someone doing something, you're just hearing that, and sometimes that could be good. But in this, I feel like they missed the mark quite a few times where there was just literally dead air for like 15, 20 seconds. Like, too long of a time for it to be in an audio form.
So what did you think about the cast? Really? Okay.
No. Okay, so I thought they did good, actually. I thought the cast overall was good, aside from probably the only name I recognize on this roster of names, and that was Christian Slater. And
Is he the dad?
yes, he is the dad.
I don't think he did I think all the voice actors themselves did a very good job. I think this dramatization is good. You're right. There is a lot of weird like dead air time, but I mean I don't know. I liked that part of this. I thought they didn't take away from it at all.
No, like I said, I'm actually nitpicking here. I don't want anybody to think that this is like a bad dramatization by any means, because it's actually pretty good. They did a good job of making you think that these two people talking, maybe they are in a park, or maybe they are on the phone. Like, they did a good job of those things. There were a few weird parts where like someone's in one room talking to someone in the other room, and even though I had my headphones in, I could barely hear what the person in the other room was saying. So just minor little tweaks to the audio, like that's great. Definitely distinguish that they're in two separate rooms, but you got to turn up that background voice just a little bit because, like I said, even with my headphones in, I found myself reaching for my volume buttons, being like, "What is that person saying?"
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
But I agree. I do think this is a pretty good dramatization, especially for being a free book. So, and at 5 hours long, it's actually fairly decent length of a book too.
Yeah, it is. And I'm seeing like if you wanted to buy this one today for some reason, you can get it for $7.95.
Yes, yeah. This one is also hot off the press this year. So just so in case anybody's wondering that, this is a brand new book.
So would you recommend this one?
Would I? I'm kind of on the fence about this one, and I don't want to spoiler too much stuff. So
I give it a resounding no.
okay, I'm only on the fence about this because I feel like the main story that was happening could have been good. So, but
you want to get into like the spoilery stuff a little bit?
Okay, no, because I'm gonna also say no as well. I'm not gonna recommend this to someone. I'm gonna say, don't waste your 5 hours, and I mean, since you have all of the other books for free, I can't say don't waste your free pick because they're all free right now. But pick something else. Go ahead and take your time on something else. If you run out of all the other ones, maybe come back to this one. But I'm gonna say don't lead with this one. And I mean, yeah, with that, we'll go ahead and go past the spoiler wall and we'll talk about it a little bit. So,
like, I feel like this book is just a huge like misstep, and I feel like they thought they had something interesting, but it's not very interesting at all. And the story's being pulled in so many different ways that are all not very interesting on their own.
There it is. Yeah.
And so I don't know.
So you know what this one felt like to me, and this is how I clarified it in my head. This felt like 3 seasons of a soap opera wrapped into 5 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what this felt like. Because it literally, like you just said, you hit the nail on the head with that. It's being pulled in so many directions, none of which I was like, what? Like,
yeah, like it would jump to a different part, and I'm like, oh, this is happening now. Cool.
Right.
Like, I don't even care.
Right. And I did. I felt like it was kind of hard to get fully invested in any of those parts, and that's what I meant when I was saying I think the main body of the story, what I would say the title and even the cover art are based on, that could have been interesting on its own. But because they were like, oh, and then also this is happening, and then this is happening over here, and then let's add this in, I was just like, why would you add all those other elements that are not cohesive to the main story, other than the people are related? That's really the only thing that tied all the stories together.
I didn't really understand like why her dad was even in the book at all.
At all.
Like,
no.
Is it just me?
No, I don't think so. Okay, so before we get too deep into this, let me just explain the premise here of what does happen.
I was gonna do that if you weren't going to.
So this book actually takes place in the 70s. So,
which is relevant because it has a lot to do with phones.
Correct. So it's a story about phones, basically. That's essentially
kind of.
Okay, again, that's like the main premise of the story. So this girl Emma, she apparently is blind,
which is not really relevant, and I don't understand why they bring it up all the time.
I didn't either, and there were plenty of times where I was like, is this girl actually blind?
I know, because she's very capable.
Yeah. So anyways, she spends a lot of time on the phone because the phone is like, it was in the 70s, and like she couldn't see, so that was like apparently like all she had to do. And there was some blurb about like she was crying, so her mom gave her the phone to push the buttons on or turn the dial, and she was all happy when she was little. And apparently she became obsessed with it. So this girl literally just spends like a lot of her time just dialing random numbers and like crank calling random people all the time. Um, there's several offshoot stories, one with her dad, one with her mom, one with this guy from the uh, oh my gosh, the Bell, is it
Yeah.
Bell phone company. And realistically, the only two characters who need to be in the book are Emma and the guy from the Bell phone company.
Even that though, like I don't understand the like they're trying to like paint Emma as like an outlaw because okay, so she's able to like control the phone network because like with her like she can make the sound to like trick the soundboard so she can call anybody she wants.
By the way, if that's real, okay, so in this
It is
book,
real.
it is real. Okay, so you could whistle into an old school phone.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember the like you wouldn't remember this obviously, but there was a big scam day because Captain Crunch released a bunch of whistles like with their breakfast cereal, and if you blew them, they would do that 1600 hertz tone, and so people were able to get freaking free phone calls for a long time because of Captain Crunch.
Okay, I do happen to know what you're talking about. Okay, so that's a real thing. Okay, so that's what this girl does. She whistles into the phone because she finds out from she crank called some number because she liked to call like random dates and time, and she ended up talking to this guy, and long story short, he tells her 2600, and then he said that's the what did he call it? It was like the clue or something like that. And he said if you can figure out the riddle, then you're in or something. And so she's struggling with this 2600. She finds out it means 2600 hertz, and she finds out she can whistle perfectly 2600 hertz to make the phone listen to her, and then she can whistle phone numbers to call anywhere she wants for free.
Yeah, which is apparently super duper illegal.
Right. Because this, I don't know if I can remember the names. The guy from Bell Telephone. So Bell Telephone, apparently in the 70s, I don't know if that's based on real facts or not. Anyways, there was basically one phone company running everything at the time, at least in the United States. So they had, every phone jack, every phone line, everything was owned by this one telephone company. So anytime anybody made like a long distance call or a collect call, all the money went straight to Bell. And they were making millions and millions and billions of dollars because they basically had a monopoly. So when they find out that someone's making phone calls for free, they sick this investigator on this case because obviously they don't want people making phone calls without paying them.
Yeah, but like this is where like the whole story loses me because it's like so Emma's is like an outlaw kind of, but she's not doing anything important at all or like even scamming people. Like they're just making random phone calls. It's like all they're doing.
Yeah, they're like literally prank calling people around the world for free.
And I don't get it. And I don't understand if you're supposed to be like sympathetic from the Bell Toll Company guy because he's like just trying to do his job, or if I'm supposed to care about Emma, or if I'm supposed to care about her dad who has like this whole other story that has nothing to do with anything else other than him.
Right, which goes in a ton of directions, by the way, like for no real reason.
Was that weird to me? It's like he falls in love with that guy, and then he calls the cops on him, and then like he had done that in the past, and you're supposed to be like, is this supposed to be like a chin scratching moment? Because I was like, what? How was I supposed to know any of that?
I didn't even really understand. Like, okay, just to sum up, like what happens. First of all, he's like, he's cheating on his sick wife, and then he's not making enough money, and he gets all pissed off, and then he reveals that he's gay, and then he falls in love with this guy like immediately, and then calls the cops on that guy, and then we find out he was gay at one point in his past, but then he also like didn't want to be gay, so he like hurt this other kid when he was little, and then that was like it. And I was like,
But
what was the point of all of that?
none
Was
of
it
that
setting us up for
to anything else? It has nothing to do with the phone calls. It has nothing to do with this bell toll company. It has nothing to do with the Phreaks. It has nothing to do with any of that.
No, none of it. It's literally its own like set aside story that they just wanted to interject, I feel like. I mean, and there was literally no like her mom wasn't ever like, where is your father? I really could use his help. Like there wasn't even any of this like character building parts of it. Like,
No.
and then he comes home and he's all drunk and he like none of that. It didn't happen ever. Like he would just show up and they were like, "Oh, nice to see you again, Dad. You've been gone for 3 days."
Yeah, and
Like-
they're like, move on from that, I guess.
Yeah, like her mom
What
and
the
dad didn't like
fuck?
fight. Like it felt like such a disconnected story. It didn't have enough connection to what I would consider the main story between Emma and I think his name is Bill. Yes, Bill Connolly. Okay, I figured it out.
Is that the guy that works for Bell?
Yes, that Bill works for Bell. So there you
Yeah, and like the gotcha moment at the end was like, but they completely undercut themselves.
go.
Like I don't really understand what the point of any of this was.
Okay, so for anybody confused, so Emma ends up she ends up figuring out the 2600 hertz thing, and she ends up being able to connect with these people that call themselves Phreaks, spelled with a Phreaks. And that's because they're phone freaks. And basically they set up like conference calls with each other, and there's like 5 or 6 of them, and it's almost like an old school like chat room where they just
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Yeah, so they get in there, and I'm actually old enough to know that these things existed where you'd like call in and there was like a bunch of people on the line and talking and stuff, and I get that. But these people apparently were doing it like illegally because the conference lines they were using were Bell's own conference lines, and nobody was supposed to be able to use them other than employees. So they, like you said, they're like outlaws. Like, oh man, we're so
Yeah, but
badass because we're like
Who
talking
cares?
on
Like
the-
they're not even doing anything. Like, that's the thing is I didn't understand. It's not
That's
like they're
what
like
I said.
smugglers or anything like that. It's like all they're doing is making phone calls.
Right. Yeah, and then like Emma's all excited because she's like, I finally found my people, and I'm like,
Yeah,
people who just talk bullshit on the phone, like.
I know. It made no sense to me. I was like, what? I don't get it.
No, I guess I was confused too. Like, and maybe this would make sense to somebody who was in her particular circumstances. I don't know, but either way, it none of it like gripped me. Like, oh yeah, she finally found her people. Now they're gonna do something, and then it was like, well, they're not really doing anything. Like,
Well, the only thing they do is so her mom gets sick because she works at like a uranium plant, and she signs a bunch of paperwork that says she's like they can't blame the company for that she got sick, and she gets paid off. Emma gets pissed off about this, and so they like call the guy. They have to go through a bunch of freaking weird techno mumbo jumbo that really didn't even matter in the end, I feel like. And they call him and they basically get him to admit that the employees are getting sick and they know about it. And so what Emma does is she like takes that little sound clip of him talking and plays it over the phones like of her hometown for like 20 minutes. She like takes over the lines and does but she does that, but then immediately after that she like mentions a bunch of stuff that happened in real history and everybody forgets. So it's like I don't why like you undercut yourself. Like you like she did all this work for nothing. I don't really understand it.
She also that's like a perfect summary of like what the only like I feel like climax of the book is that she she hijacked the phone lines. And so then I was like, oh shit, she actually did something. And then, like you said, she runs it for like 20 minutes and then she disconnects it. She
Yeah.
stops it. And it's like, why didn't you just leave it going indefinitely until they figured it out? Like, make someone else figure it out. And then you're right. And then they were like, it was great and all, but then, this happened and this happened. And then, it was lost to history.
Yeah,
And I was like,
and the book
wow.
just ends.
Yeah, and then she like gets on a bus and like travels somewhere because one of her phone friends hooked her up with a name or an address or something. And yeah, I was like, what? Huh?
Yeah. Because I was listening to it and I was like, okay, there's still a lot of like loose ends. And I was like, what do you mean there's only 10 minutes left?
Right. Yeah, they don't really tie up any of them.
Well, the things are so loosely connected anyway. Like, there's so much stuff about like Bill and his like home life that I feel like we're supposed to not like this guy. And it's like, why? I don't understand why you like bring up he like calls his dad because he thinks his dad like is hurt, and there's this like weird interaction that goes on for way too long with his family that is super awkward to listen to. I don't know. I just don't get it.
I guess I didn't either. I mean,
I'm not big brain enough.
well, and I agree with you on a lot of those points that like, yeah, they were trying to have some character building like with Bill. So I feel like this book either needs to be 2 hours long or 10 hours long.
Right, like why
this
are we dipping into this guy's past when it does not matter?
Exactly. It doesn't actually end up coming around to matter. Like they sort of tried to make it sound like it matters because his dad was like, when I was in the force, and he tells like this story that's supposed to be like inspirational to Bill and somehow helps Bill solve this problem,
Which
even
makes
though
no sense to me. It didn't relate to anything.
yes.
So his dad is explaining that they were like, he was a cop and he was at a sting operation at like a freaking whorehouse, and they were trying to find the guy running it. And the chief comes with them once, and he's like, "You idiots! You didn't even notice that he was dressing like a lady the whole time." What does that have to do with him catching Emma? Like, I did not understand that at all.
Dude, so to me, it was the biggest red herring because I was like, I literally, while I was driving, I was like, oh, what's her face? The girl he's been working with this whole time. It's her. She's been setting up all this stuff. And then it was like, yeah, no, that's not it at all. I was like, oh, I thought I was onto something.
And can we like?
It's literally. Sorry, I gotta say, it's literally the equivalent of someone being like, son, sometimes something looks green, but it's actually red instead. And he's like, Dad, you're right. It's number 46. I knew it. It's like, what?
It reminds me of that scene in Orgasmo when he's like, Dad, I think I'm not gonna do hamster style anymore. It's like, okay, son.
Yes.
It's like random, makes no sense.
Right. Yeah.
And okay, and I don't know if I just didn't understand this, but so like the guy that her love interest, I can't remember, he's something to do with peanut butter. I can't remember what his name is.
Jim.
So he like gets taken in by the Bell Company and is like working for them. But supposedly he tips Emma off, but I didn't notice that at any point.
It's because they didn't explain it.
What did he do?
I don't know. Apparently he told her that they're going to be coming to your house. He told her all these things while
he's like under Bell's surveillance, right?
Yes. And while every conversation he makes from the phone he's using, so he's locked in an office.
Monitored, right?
Yes.
See, I did not understand that. I went back and listened to it again because they have that phone conversation when they're basically trying to set Emma up to get her on recording so they can get her in trouble, I guess.
Right.
And he like acts a little weird, and Emma's like, he's being weird. It was that it?
I don't think so, because she knew that they were coming to her house, so she knew to switch her phone number. Like, I didn't either. And so for any of you listening who are like, this sounds like the weirdest cell phone conversation ever. These are not cell phones. They're
Oh,
children.
They're
These-
they're the turn dial phones, dude. The
Yes.
freaking
Go ask your grandparents. Maybe they might be able to tell you about it.
Your dad will
But
show you the suitcase phone.
But yeah, I don't really understand how he tips her off either to not get
I didn't
arrested.
understand that at all.
No, I didn't either.
I don't,
I don't know. Maybe this one just goes over my head. I mean, but I didn't. I'm gonna be honest. I was waiting and wanting something of real substance.
Me
I
too.
was.
Well,
Because
like, it starts out so strong, and you're like, okay, where's this going? And I'm like,
it
all
kind
right,
of does.
there's only an hour left, and it's still meandering as shit.
And it kind of does. And to be honest, I honestly thought about half hour in, I was like, oh, we finally did it. We found a good Audible original to review. And then about an hour or two in, I was like, God damn it. Like, where is this going?
Yeah, this might have been the worst batch in a while.
We've just been on a low streak, I feel like, with originals. It's been tough.
The best one I feel like was like a 4.
Out of 10 or out of 100?
10. Oh shit. All right, I'm done stabbing this freak's corpse.
Yeah, let's just let this poor one go. So yeah, there you go. Our 2 picks that we had for August are both thumbs down for us. So if you feel different, please feel free to email us kotpl.pod@gmail.com. Actually, the most responses I usually get from these originals reviews are over on YouTube. So if somebody wants to go over there and leave me a nasty comment, by all means, Knights of the Pageless Library on YouTube. So
we should start calling this series Audible Avoidables.
Dang. Come on, originals. We're trying. We continue month after month to give these the time. We're trying. Honestly, we're trying.
You continue to beat to freaking just push our faces in the dirt, and we keep getting up and keep trying.
That's true. We are
every month.
We're
for like over
consistent.
a year now.
It's been quite a few that we've done. Yeah. So with that, let's go ahead and leave these poor originals alone. And what are we planning on doing next time?
So next time will be A Brave New World. And then
Correct.
I think after that'll be another Anime Squires.
Sounds right. Yep.
And then we have to do freaking Roadside Picnic.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good. That sounds like a good lineup there. So yeah, with that, we hope to catch everybody for Brave New World.